Hello, my beautiful people. So, I have a funny story for you. One that I'm sure you can relate to, happening at one point or another in your life. At church the other day, during handshaking time, which, by the way, I'm a huge advocate of, because it forces the members of the church to mingle, because apparently that's something you have to force. We church people won't mingle of our own volition. That is crazy to me, because when it comes to people, I will talk for any reason, to anyone, for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where, or who they are with, or where they are going, or where they've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever. I threw that in there for you office fans. People can go to the same church for like 50 years and never speak to each other because they sit on the other side of the aisle, which I think is just sad. What is this, like West Side Story? We've got the Jets on the left side of the pulpit and the Sharks on the right. And nary the twain shall meet. For crying out loud, people, talk to each other. Really not that hard to be nice and social and cordial and polite. Whew, rabbit trail. Anyway, so during handshaking time, I'm approached by an elderly woman whom I know as a passing acquaintance. Like, we know each other, but we have no deep friendship or anything. I don't even think she knows my last name. So we smile and we shake hands, and as she's got her grip on me, as to prevent me from going anywhere, she asks the question. So have you found yourself a fella yet? So I answered her, as any good, respectful, faithful, church-going young woman is taught to answer their elders. I said, no ma'am, not quite yet, but I'm sure that God's got him out there somewhere, and he just hasn't brought him around yet. This answer seemed to satisfy her curiosity, and she smiled, and she moved right along to the next unsuspecting person, as did I. But I'm gonna be 100% perfectly honest with you. There were several other answers to this question that popped into my head. Like, no ma'am, I haven't. Have you found yourself a business yet? Because I really think you should be minding it. Or, well, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But the fact that you don't know might be a good indicator that I didn't want to tell you either way. Or, no ma'am, I haven't. I've been so lonely and depressed about it here lately. I just can't see how I'll go on all alone. But I've been able to put it away and forget about it up until this very moment. So thank you so much for bringing it all back up again. Really, I appreciate it. I just appreciate it so much. Or, I did find him actually, but he didn't treat me the way that he should. So I made sure that no one will ever find him again. Or, obviously, I am being dramatic and funny for comedy effect. And I said all of that in complete jest. But in total seriousness, this is a question that we singles get from people all of the time. And you know what? If you are genuinely asking us this question because you care about us and want to know how we are and what is happening in our lives because you're a friend to us, then it is a permissible question, if it really comes down to it. But if you are just asking because you, A, pity the fact that we are just poor, young, lonely, single people who are all by our onesies and have to be so sad and alone. B, don't understand why we're not frantically looking for a mate as though we have 2 more days left to live on the planet as a single person before we evaporate. C, saw that on our social media profiles our relationship status said single, and you wanted to just double check that we didn't forget to update it and just simply not tell you. Or D, just want to be a nosy busybody that wants to get all up in our business because you just have to know everything about everybody. Let me clue you in on a really big secret. This is kind of a rude and condescending question. First of all, to assume that your opinion, the one of how our lives should be progressing at this particular juncture in time, that this is the only correct course that a young person's life should take, is extremely egotistical and narrow-minded. Just because your life played out in a certain way, and it's worked for you, and it's wonderful, and it has made you so happy, and you are so grateful for the turn of events that has led you to where you are, that doesn't mean that the same trajectory of life is good for another person. All people are different, people. Like, literally. There are no 2 people on God's green earth that are exactly like anywhere. And that's okay. Different is good. I am a firm believer that different is good. It's what makes things unique and beautiful. Imagine if all the keys on a keyboard were the same exact note. Or if every single item of food that you ever put in your mouth tasted exactly the same. How boring would that be, right? My point is, just because you look at us and you see that we are not at the same place that you were at our age, does not mean that we're doing it wrong. And who are you to even make that kind of judgment on our lives anyway? Last time I checked, God was running the show. And I really don't think he's sitting up in heaven waiting around for your feedback before he decides how our lives should play out from here. So sorry to break it to you, but I think he's got this one on his own. Secondly, don't assume that just because we are single, that we are unhappy. I cannot speak for every single person out there, but I can tell you this about myself. I am living life, man, to the absolute fullest. I have amazing friends, and I do awesome things. And I love where God has me right now in this particular moment. And I have no reason not to. He put me here. I'm not going to let what I don't have stop me from enjoying and appreciating what I do have right now. I mean, at the end of the day, you really only have today. So fretting about what kind of job your future husband will have in 6 years is kind of pointless and a waste of energy. And here's the thing, right? Who has the time to have imaginary excess stress? I have a cargo ship's worth of stress in my personal life on a daily basis. Why the heck would I create pretend stress if I didn't have to? Who does that? Now, there are probably some of you who are watching this and you are thinking, this girl is not playing with the full deck, you know what I'm saying? You know what? You are free to think that. My reasoning behind this thought process goes back to the good old book, bless it. Paul actually says in Philippians 4:11, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned, in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. In whatsoever state I am. That means where you are right now, at this moment, currently. I find myself coming back to this verse again and again because even though the message of the verse is so deep and powerful, the thought itself is very simple. It is hard, almost impossible, to acknowledge and appreciate and be grateful for what God has given you and what he has blessed you with. Today, right now, if you are constantly thinking about and worrying about what he's going to bless you with tomorrow. Pretty easy, right? And so I shall continue to live blissfully happy in the life that God has planned for me today, knowing full well that he literally has the rest of my life in his hands. And he knows what's going to happen tomorrow, and 2 weeks from now, and 2 years from now, and 2 decades from now. So who am I to question the creator of the universe? Now, do not misunderstand me. If the good Lord decides to bring me a 6'3" tall drink of Earl Grey, I don't know, from Europe, with dark, dreamy eyes and manners that'll make your mama cry, and an accent that makes you drool just a little. I'm just saying I definitely wouldn't turn my nose up at that. But as crazy and vivacious and as loud as I am nothing if not a hopeless romantic. And them boys from Europe. And please don't walk away from this thinking that I am against love and I am against being married. I'm not. I promise you. If you were lucky enough to have found that special someone, and you are in love and you are as happy as you can possibly be, then that is awesome. Really. You are blessed, and I truly think that that is amazing. But I also think that being single is great in a totally different way. I guess what I'm saying is, you are at whatever stage of life that you are at because God puts you there and he wants you there right now. Single, married, divorced, engaged, incarcerated, abducted, in a coma, Canadian. And the fact that God has plans for you, whatever they may be, should excite you, no matter where you are in life. Because the fact that the creator of the universe has your life planned, like he's taken the time to do that, is mind-blowing. You could be comforted by that. Anyway, just thought I would throw that out there, because I know I am not the only one in this boat. And maybe my fellow passengers on the good ship Singleton probably could use some encouragement. And let's face it, I just live to make people laugh. So if I can get a good message out there and bring a smile to your face, ain't nothing better. Keep smiling, people. You are only as happy as you choose to be. So why not go the whole hog? Be painfully, blissfully, infectiously happy. Some of it may just bleed over, and who knows? You might just make someone's day. Until next time, peace out, my home skillets.